representative of Pakistan on behalf of the OIC. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I am making this statement on behalf of the member states of the OIC. Madam President, in the last 6 decades, Israel, the occupying power, has pursued a policy of wanton repression in the occupied Palestinian territories through the use of force, deliberate destruction of infrastructure, killing of civilians, and eliminating the religious and cultural heritage of Palestine. Thousands of Palestinians have suffered torture and other degrading punishments. Every day, thousands suffer insult at the hands of Israeli soldiers while trying to cross checkpoints. Palestinian women and children are also targets of the Israeli army's shooting sprees, while Palestinian farmers have to live under the threat of eviction to make room for illegal Israeli settlements. This can only be described as a manifestation of state terrorism and ethnic cleansing. The situation in the occupied Syrian Golan, where the occupying power continues its daily grave and systematic violations of all human rights, is also of deep concern for the group. The OIC continues to support the efforts of the Palestinian National Authority towards putting an end to the Israeli occupation and establishing the independent state of Palestine, while affirming the legitimate and inalienable rights of the Palestinian people to life and to self-determination, and the right to end the occupation and establish the independent and sovereign state of Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital, and the return of Palestinian refugees in accordance with the relevant United Nations resolutions, including General Assembly Resolution 194. The OIC affirms the applicability of the international law, international human rights law, international humanitarian law, particularly the 4th Geneva Convention, to the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. The OIC further demands that Israel, the occupying power, implement the ICJ advisory opinion on the construction of the wall in the occupied Palestinian territory. Stop all settlement activities in the occupied Palestinian territories, particularly in and around East Jerusalem. Release all Palestinian prisoners, particularly children, women, and members of the Palestinian parliament. Lift checkpoints, open borders and crossing points, and facilitate the free movement of persons and circulation of goods within the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem, with the outside world. Immediately lift the siege imposed on the occupied Gaza Strip. Stop the destruction of Palestinian properties in East Jerusalem. Refrain from any measure aimed at altering the legal, geographic, and demographic character or status of Jerusalem. Cooperate with all the IIFFMs, the Special Procedure Mandate holders, and the Special Rapporteurs to investigate human rights violations by Israel in the Palestinian territories occupied since 1967. Mr. President, the Israeli oppression and human rights violations continue also in the occupied Syrian Golan. The Syrians there are denied all their rights. Human rights defenders are attacked, arbitrarily detained, and handed illegal sentences by unfair courts. We call for the immediate release of all the Syrian detainees in Israeli prisons, including those who have been detained for almost a quarter of a century. I thank you, Madam President.
I thank you, and I